Back to another live stream here on the twitch.tv/Xisuma with what probably sounds like morning voice. I've got post-festival screaming voice today. Oh yeah, I was an absolute wreck earlier today. I couldn't talk without my voice cracking, but I'm a little better now. And we're going to be placing blocks today. Let's throw this down here a little bit. Yeah, I got glass. Look, I got glass. I got quartz somewhere. There's quartz. We're going to start building the aesthetics for this project today. Should be fun. There we go. Beacon beam was missing. This place feels a little weird after haven't looked at it for like a day and a half. Sometimes I find that you have a break from your regular, you come sit back at the computer, and 3D graphics just look and feel weird. Anyway, Decana Heaven is in the chat with the bananas, so is Digital Chaos. And Ender Void Wolf, and Free Piglets in a Coat. And Fudgelarity, and a Happy Pancake, and Matrix Tube, and Penelope Sky. Welcome everyone, welcome. We will chat Download Festival today, because I just got back from the Friday. The festival is still going on. And bang. Bang? Dang. I wish I were there. This is such a great lineup, like, across the weekend. I would have really liked to have stuck around, but yeah. You're going tomorrow, Penelope Sky. Awesome, awesome. It was great. Fortunately, the weather worked out. And the weather makes a huge difference to festivals. Rainy can really bring the mood down. I did see Lakeview Radio Suicide. They were awesome. I was so in the mood for watching something like that. Like, I am all about hearing different sounds, and as much as I've listened to country in the past, feels like a lot of times when I hear country today, the current iteration of it, I'm impressed. I like what I hear. I just realized this is the wrong type of quartz. Partly. I need to go smelt some of this. Ah! You went in 24, and oh boy, it was download. You went in 2-4. Got it. Drownload. Right, now the typo makes sense. Was it just really wet? You see, I was reading I glanced at my last year's download blog, and I made this note of, like, I hadn't been there for 6 years. I went in 2019. And then the pandemic happened, and way too much time passed. Like, the pandemic had this, like, ripple effect. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's how much I need. The pandemic had this ripple effect. And I stopped going to gigs. It makes no sense. What happened? I missed out on a good few years of Download Festival. I should have been there in 2-4, you know? Anyway, this lineup, the weather this year, it kind of made me think, you know, maybe doing the full weekend sometime soon would be cool. I'm a one-dayer, not a weekender. Cup of tea, yes. By the way, I got a hot cup of tea here. I'm going to start drinking it. Your mum and your sister are there right now. Why are you on Twitch? Go enjoy the festival. Go watch bands. Like, take a break from the phone and the internet and being connected. You know, I used my phone for a little bit of communication yesterday. I didn't look at YouTube. I didn't look at social media. I didn't look at anything, you know. What did I think of Pale Face Swiss? Saw your blog about having seen them. They're all right. They're one of those bands that I can go watch because I'm very familiar with their sounds. But they didn't particularly do anything that excited me. If you're new to that sound, it's always going to be exciting whatever band you're exposed to first. But to me, they were very much like pretty standard for that kind of sound, you know? 24 and 25 are very wet. You see, I went in 25, and I don't really remember what the weather was like. It's funny how much of a big deal the weather is when you go. And then it's like, you come back and all you remember is the music. The last download you went to was 23. That was a scorcher. Get in your car, X. You've got another 2 days to go. If only. You know, if I had a ticket. Did I not want to stay for Guns N' Roses or Linkin Park? Well, neither of those bands I would have watched if I were there. I would have watched Blood Incantation and someone else other than Linkin Park. For me, Linkin Park is kind of done now. Like just as a fan, I've got no issue with them like going on. They get to do what they want. It's their band. But as a fan, to me, it just kind of ended with Chester. So I went for Limp Bizkit. I could have picked any of the 3 days, and I think Saturday and Sunday had more bands I wanted to see in general, but I had to go back and see Limp Bizkit again. And I spent my time in the mosh pit, jumping up and down like a loon, singing every lyric like I was 13 again. Oh, it was just crazy. Linkin Park just doesn't make sense to you about Chester. That's kind of how it is for me. Again, it's not a knock against the bands. They have their own, like, you know, it's their thing. I'm not one of those people that's going to be like, they shouldn't do that. Like, but for me, it just means, you know, I like all the stuff in the past now. Millie, you saw the mosh pits. It was insane. Yeah, it was really good. And they open with Thieves, which I loved. I love it when they play Thieves. As a Ministry fan, I love that cover. Magalore Starcutter, thank you for the Prime. Excellent username, by the way. Xisuma, I saw some things on Twitter about you using generative AI on your thumbnail on your second channel. Is that true, or is social media just witch hunting again? Sorry for lack of relevance to the current conversation. As an artist, AI usage really concerns me. Yeah, so my second channel. I'm not throwing someone else under the bus here. You can put the blame on me, but like I didn't make that thumbnail. My editor did, and my editor's a great guy. I love working with him. When I saw that they'd used AI, I had that kind of someone's gonna say something if they notice it, right? So yeah, and I wondered, should I say anything? Should I not? And then I was busy because I've had a very busy day today. Or whenever I saw it. Like, it's been a busy few days, you know? Going to Download Festival, coming back, getting all the other things in life done in between. I sort of had a feeling that might be a little bit of a sore thumb for some. Personally, it doesn't bother me too much, but I did think maybe it was unnecessary to use it, so I'll probably just ask them not to do it again, because what I don't mind is using... For me, it's like using it to kickstart what you're trying to do, like lay down a foundation of like get a rough image for something and then build on top of it. I think it's great for that, but like having it do the whole job, I'm not so keen on. But yeah, thanks for letting me know anyway. I'm not really bothered by, you know, a mob putting pressure on or anything. I much prefer talking about the actual issue. And I think the actual issue is that, yes, these tools have been created out of the collective works of humans, right? And these companies that have made these tools have sort of acknowledged that and acted as if they need to do something about it, but never have. And it's you know, as the years have rolled by, we've gone from, oh, here's this new shiny thing, it's going to be amazing, and wow, this is so interesting, to like, okay, and what about all those issues you brought up? When are we actually gonna do that, you know? Magalore says, glad to know it wasn't you personally. I still use AI on occasion. Usually a little bit of research on Claude or asking it a question. I haven't done any generative stuff with it in a long time. Yeah, I just... It's the whole black or white thinking that bothers me with a lot of stuff. It's like, you know, you use AI, now you're in this box, you don't use it, you're over here waving a flag or something like that, you know. That's what bothers me. So, like, I much prefer to give you a fuller picture of where I'm at and why we do what we do. I think that's probably enough to get started here, although I'm very much enjoying this cup of tea. Very much enjoying it. For research, it can help a lot. It really can. Yeah, it can do some heavy lifting for you, you know? Mixanu says, what I'm more concerned about is the possibility that your editor fed my artwork to an AI to generate that thumbnail. I'm not really comfortable with that. I'll ask them how they did it and find out, because it is similar to your style in some way. But, you know, as I said a moment ago, right, these things are trained on the collective works of all us humans. Mixanu, your artwork could well and truly be in that mix somewhere, right? And these companies haven't done anything about it. It's frustrating because in the beginning they came out sort of saying, you know, oh, we need to work with regulators and all this, and like, all right, time's passed, and what's happened? Nothing. Lego says that they see lots of commercials using generative AI. Interesting. The sort of commercials I've been exposed to are kind of like traditional TV commercials. I see them on Amazon Prime because I'm watching The Sopranos on there at the moment. Other than that, I have YouTube Premium. I don't really get a lot of ads thrown my way, right? So I haven't noticed it, but it doesn't surprise me that they'll be popping up in these places. What tea am I currently drinking? I think it's just a Sam I think I made today. Yes, so many authentic artists don't like how it just generates new stuff without the artist's concern. Yeah. Yeah, of course they don't. It makes sense they don't. It's helpful for quick research for sure. I don't hate language models as much, but I can't get behind fully generative models as an artist. I'm kind of in the same place. Like, the generative stuff has been like the ugly side of it for me. It's like when you do other stuff with it, it's more of a tool, and a tool is like, you know, a spanner, a hammer. But what about like a paintbrush that does the painting for you? And oh, that paintbrush was painted on a bunch of people's art and they were never asked for their permission. That's kind of where it's at, right? You're not a fan of how people use AI to generate music. It just doesn't feel genuine. I've like used AI tools in music for some time, like even before people called it AI. Like, there's parts of making music that tools, some can be considered generative, some not so much, but like there is a component of that where these things can come into the mix. I've used some stuff like that in music, but whenever I use like actually generative stuff, it always becomes like this quick dead end for me, where like it almost kills the creativity, because it's like, well, it sounds cool, but like the fun is coming up with it yourself. So yeah, it's the music stuff I am like equally quite unsettled by. More so when it's like, not that it's there and people listen to it, more so when it becomes that like barrier to creativity. It's like you generate it instead of being creative. And to me, the creativity bit is the pleasure of music, as well as consuming. There's no protection for artists. You see a lot of voice actors who nowadays refuse some gigs because there is a clause that their voice can be fed to an AI and recreated. Yeah, that's a very on the line of work right there, isn't it? A voice actor. On regular TV, you've seen quite a few that you knew off the bat was AI. Well, I'm not so great at noticing AI, so I'll try and keep an eye out for it more. Yeah, someone's mentioning AI data centers. The chat is all AI now. I thought we were going to talk download today, you know? There's a difference between procedural and AI generative tools. Of course. I think what I was trying to say about the music stuff is that some of the AI tools there, they're not so much procedural. They're just like I don't know, they're just like a weight off your back. Like when you have busy work to do and there's something that automates it. And then there's other tools that are generative, and it's the generative ones that are less fun, because when you generate something, it kind of like doesn't start with you anymore. Well, I need to make way more of this stuff. What am I doing here? People who advocate for generative AI music genuinely believe that nobody enjoys making music. I've seen people talk about it in that way, right? In fact, it's the Suno guy, isn't it? The guy who runs Suno talks like that. He talks like, oh, you know, making music is such a burden. It's like, no, it's the pleasure of it, right? That's why I'm here making music, because it's pleasurable to do so. Yeah, that guy's got a lot corporate talk for his own product, you know. I think we're probably going to need that much, so I'll make that much now. AI is just a mirror of humans' past. It's not an entire entity of creativity. You know, Tinkerer, that there's something brilliant in what you just said. It's a mirror of humans' past. It doesn't show us our future. I wonder this about the AI stuff, is what it generates, is it always going to be like downstream? Because a lot of culture and what humans generate, I see what I did there. That's like the exciting thing. It constantly evolves and changes, and we have musical movements and things evolve and exchange, ideas are exchanged over time and stuff. Is generative AI capable of that? If it develops some sort of like self-feedback, iterative learning loop, will it actually like advance culture as we enjoy it, or will it only be able to do stuff within the mirror, as you put it, of our past? How muddy was it? Do you need to take your wellies? No, I got by on my good old boots. It slightly muddy in one or two patches, but you got to pay attention to the weather, right? So it didn't rain at all on Friday. If it doesn't rain tomorrow and Sunday, it says it won't, then you should be good. What kind of festival is Download? It's traditionally it was heavy metal, a little bit of thrash metal. Yeah, just metal in general. Then going into the noughties, it like embraced new metal when it came. So when I say originally, we're talking about Monsters of Rock at Donington Park. That went away during the 90s. In the noughties, it came back as Download Festival. Download being a buzzword at the time for music because of Napster. That's where it gets its name from, I think. I mean, I just assumed that, to be fair. And then over the years, it's gone a little alt-rock at times. It's gone mostly metal. You know, it's always supported like extreme metal, thrash metal and death and black a little bit here and there. In fact, black metal actually really hasn't featured that much. But you know, the extreme side of metal. But then it's like got this sway with a lot of like the butt rock and the alt rock stuff, and maybe a bit of goth rock. You know, this kind of broader alternative sort of appeal that it has. And it feels like it's starting to swing a little bit back towards metal. And I think that might be a demographic thing, because there were quite a few bands on this billing related to the new metal era, like POD, who I unfortunately missed. Limp Bizkit, obviously. And I noticed now at Download Festival, when I first went, there were a lot of teenagers. There were teenagers and there were old school metalheads from Monsters of Rock days. And now it feels like it's mostly 20s, 30s, 40s. And then a lot of... I feel like I see a lot more kids there now, and I wonder if it's just parents of my generation bring their kids to the festival now, and that's why something like Limp Bizkit appeals so much. You know, throwback to their teenage years, plus their kids love it. Gen Z love Limp Bizkit. So I think at the moment its demographic may be swinging a little bit more towards metal again. We got Neferin here for 4 months saying, how was Download? Got back from Rock AM Ring last Monday. Really great start for the Friday. I think it's going to be a great weekend. Loads of great bands. The weather looks good. If I were going for a weekend, the whole thing, this was probably the year to do it. But for me, the weather is one of the reasons that's put me off. Like, the weather really like sour stuff for me. You got kicked out of a metal show for headbanging too hard last night. Did that headbanging involve headbutting someone else? As someone who's part of the Vocaloid community, there was a song that came out recently that was made by Suno AI and stole the melody directly from a lesser-known Vocaloid song. What is Vocaloid? Please tell me. I 100% agree that AI is just a mirror of humans past. I would be hesitant to say it's 100% a mirror of humans past. I think it's yet to be known, but that could be what it is, right? I think we need a bit more time with it to be certain about if it is or not. Like, we shouldn't shy away from the fact that it could create things that we listen to and go, no human ever came up with that. Like, and that's wild, that's different. We might not even feel that way about it, and it might be something like that. LP still banging live. Wouldn't know. Wouldn't know. So jealous you went to download as a Gen Z 18. Love all metal, says Adrian Corgi. Hey man, make some plans. Like, do what you can over the year to save up and get out there. It'll be a great, great experience. Going to a festival, enjoying music that you love. You'll have the time of your life. Do what you can to get there. Have I gone to Grasspop? No, I've never done a European festival, and I think that's something I need to address in the coming years. So crazy to think our generation taking kids to see a band like Limp Bizkit. Now it's the same time difference our parents would have taken us to someone like ABBA in the 90s. Yeah, it feels crazy, but then what would have the kids that listen to ABBA, what would their parents have taken to them? And how much of a gap is that, right? I know what you're getting at 100%. I think the same way as you. I always find stuff like that like super intriguing, right? But yeah, like maybe if it was ABBA, it's like some 50s jazz band, or you know, come watch Miles Davis. What other stuff was knocking about then? Rockabilly? I don't know. Elvis? Elvis was the 50s, right? You're excited for the 24th? Going to see Bring Me the Horizon at Tons of Rock Norway's Festival. Awesome, man. Bring Me the Horizon's live show is wild. You'll enjoy it. You fell down in the mosh pit, but you was just too awesome with your long ginger hair and got bounced. Oh, that's unfortunate, dude. Yeah, that's wild. I can picture that though, you know, just like mosh pits are so crazy. If someone doesn't understand what's going on, like they just look at someone and are like, "You're being a part of this. Get out." Iron Maiden, maybe. I've got them on my list. You know what? Here's what I really want to do. I want to get a cheap ticket to a gig last minute and go to it, but it feels like that's not really a thing anymore. Like these ticket vendor websites, they don't seem to have last minute cheap tickets anymore. It's just, everything's just ridiculous these days. Where do I tend to stand when I go to a concert? So for the longest time, I was always just down at the front. And if there's a band I really want to see and mosh to, I go down the front. But in my age, I am starting to be content with being further back. And I really enjoyed watching Electric Callboy from afar. They sounded amazing. In a way that I think is probably both props to the band and the sound engineers. Like, I've never really watched bands from that far back for a long, long time. And I remember maybe back in like 07 or 06, I might hang with a couple of friends for a little bit if I'm not that mega about the band. And I remember the sound being weird from further back. Like the wind would blow and all of a sudden the sound would get all garbled. But a download, it sounded sweet. Piggy Potato, it says, Electric Callboy. So I might have been a little bit like you at first. I try not to be as judgmental these days, right? But they certainly struck me as not really being for me. However, whenever you go see a band live, there's just some sort of connection there. And now it's like, oh, I kind of get it. Like, this is really fun. Plus, they sort of showed a lot of their influences with how they put some like Gabba-style hardcore stuff in between their songs, and that like really like glued things together for me and made me appreciate them a lot more. So I was really happy to see them. Electric Callboy is a big party, 50,000 people going wild. I think it was more than 50,000, but yeah. Tickets to big bands these days are like 500. I went to Red Hot Chili Peppers show in 2024, and that's 475 USD. So yeah, if you caught my last live stream, by the way, I said that there was something I really wanted to talk about in this stream, and it was related to money and the way things are today. And this is a part of it. I've been thinking about this a lot because I'm just curious about a lot of stuff in the world. You know me by now. I talk about all sorts of topics, right? It's no surprise. Oh look, X has been thinking about something. What a surprise. But where my thinking has gone lately is like, if I think back to my parents' generation and how frugal they were and how frugal people were in the past, and maybe like how they had to be frugal and then how convenience has come along and kind of changed our habits with money and spending and saving and all this kind of stuff. And when we talk about this, it's never like, here's the answer to the question. Like, it's always the picture is, you know, got so many different ways of looking at it, so many things to think about and consider, and it's like one big interconnected mess. But a part of where we're at financially today, I wonder if it has something to do with how over the generations, the spending habits of people have shifted. Because I feel like I'm seeing more and more things happen that, like, people in the past would never stand for. And you never used to have, like, these extraordinary prices for tickets. Even, like, compared to what you paid for other stuff at the time. Ticket prices right now are soaring so high. We got Ape over here for 81 months. Thank you, my dude. Appreciate you. Hope you're enjoying the stream. Having a good time. Thank you for the 81. And I wonder if part of it has something to do with how, like, people's sort of relationship with money has changed, with how we value things and see things. There's a lot more, feels like there's a lot more gambling. There's a lot more buying things on credit. There's a lot of, like, I see a lot of financial things that never used to be something people would do. Like, you can buy so much stuff now on credit. Oh yeah, mini story. I lost my Fitbit during Limp Bizkit. I was having the time of my life, and then I noticed that my Fitbit had gone, and it couldn't have come at a better time, really, because I think their set was just starting to wind down. The last 45 minutes of Limp Bizkit really kind of, like, wound down after, like, a raging opening. And when I lost my Fitbit, it sort of took me out of the moment. I was still in a really good mood. I wasn't upset. I was like, well, that happened. I'll figure it out and sort out all of that stuff. But then I noticed, like, that had taken me out of it a little bit. It took me out of the gig a little bit. All of a sudden, my mood, my thinking, it was all kind of somewhere else. And I was like, okay, you know, that's happened. And then they started playing, like, Eat You Alive. Actually, no, that was after that. Behind Blue Eyes, and yeah, the whole thing started to wind down. So I kind of got out of the crazy part of the crowd and went and got myself a coffee. For the drive home, which, by the way, I'm operating on, like, 4 hours sleep. I had to have 2 strong coffees to get me home because I felt a bit drowsy at one point driving. Take no risks, perked myself up, and it's quite typical. I fell asleep okay, but when I woke up, as you do in the night sometimes, and then you fall back to sleep again, the caffeine was there. I could feel it keeping me awake. So I've been awake for a long time. Limp Fit Biscuit. Rest in peace, Xisuma's Fitbit. Yeah, it's fascinating to me. It's fascinating to me how like I almost felt a little bit naked, like you would feel if you lose your phone. And I keep turning to my Fitbit, and I keep having phantom buzzes from it as well. And yeah, it's just funny. It's been an amusing sort of highlight on how connected that is to me now, that little thing. But yeah, you're immune to the effects of caffeine, unfortunately. Interesting. Is that like a diagnosed thing, or just your own assumption? Because is it possible for people to be immune? Like, people have different genetics and stuff, right? And you could have a gene mutation or whatever. You know, the caffeine resistant gene. Could be something like that. Where are my note blocks at? Probably in the redstone box. That's where they at. And I ain't got enough of them. And I'm talking like a this and a that. Excuse me, mouth burps. Castle Donington is lucky, like only an hour away, but I'm not excited for the drive home tomorrow. Just hoping my car starts. Yikes. Yeah, are you going with friends? Because the whole getting home on time thing, to me, it goes out the window if you're like with friends and stuff. It's just, you just enjoy each other's company and talk about the day, and like you get home when you get home. But yeah, if you're on your own, like I am most of the time I go, it's like, yeah, you know, I kind of want to get on, I want to get on with this and get home. You know what I mean? The auto crafting messed up there. I don't know if you spotted it. I spotted it, which is strange because I'm talking. Usually I'm too distracted to notice what's going on. Caffeine makes you focus. To me, it does, but like not consistently. I think it's a little bit, I think like too much. If I start drinking coffee on a regular basis, which I've done a lot of lately, it tends to like lose that effect, and then almost feels like sometimes you need the opposite. You just need a bit of fresh water and a break. But yeah, it definitely helps you focus, like if you get it in the right moment. Phantom Buzz is mad. What's Phantom Buzz? What are we talking about? Buzz from coffee, maybe? You was at a concert last night that finished at 2 a.m. You're running on fumes. I'm kind of like that. Yeah, I wouldn't say I'm running on fumes, but I've definitely not 100%. I'm not going to like work out or anything today. I think that will just beat it out of me. I was personally surprised though. Like my original plan today was to go for a run, and I wasn't going to mosh yesterday. But then, oh surprise, surprise, I'm there. Limp Bizkit are there. Like all of a sudden, I start getting excited. It's like, what did I think was going to happen? Why was I went here because I was going to see Limp Bizkit and go wild again. I always do. It's the 10th time I've seen them, and every time I just lose my mind. And I lost my mind again. Anyway, because I was in the mosh pit and I got barged around a lot. Like I thought I was really going to feel it today, but I haven't. But anyway, I decided, you know, skip the run, skip a workout, have a proper recovery day. You're running low on sleep. You know, it just makes sense to have an off day today, right? I like to do something every day. You know, it's hard for me to say take a break, but clearly it was warranted this time, I think. And I've just had a big meal as well. Had a full English breakfast. Feeling really well fed, and pretty good now actually at the moment. Now that I think about it, but we'll see how long it lasts. You're meeting friends there, but you go home by yourself. Got it. Just need your car to get you there. Your poor car is 22 years old and slowly dying. Yikes. I wish I had some sort of car advice, but I'm not a car person, so I can't help you there. What's my opinion on Lake Malice? They're interesting. They're interesting. I seem to get a really different impression of them live than I did watching stuff online. Maybe I like got them confused with another band, but what I saw online I wasn't particularly keen on, but like, you know, hey, I could go watch that. I think that's the thing I prefer to watch out of everything. But when I saw them live, they were really quite entertaining. They had some dancers doing some like 90s bubblegum pop style dancing on stage as well, which was kind of different. I'm all for it. Like I like seeing stuff that's just different from the norm, and they were cool. They're a cool band. But yeah, I feel like they're one that I would go watch again if they fit into a time slot where not much else is on. I go watch them again. I feel like, you know, maybe with time they'll write some really good songs and win you over a bit more or whatever. I might be mistaken, but they might have clashed with Periphery, and I didn't go watch Periphery. I've seen Periphery a lot of times, and for whatever reason, I made my plan to just go see another band instead. Because they mentioned it. They were on stage saying, like, thanks for coming here. We saw that we clashed with a lot of good bands, so, like, thanks for picking us. Heard of Protomata? I think so, yeah. I have a bit of a brain for seeing band names and stuff, right? I don't think I checked them out, but I recognize the name. Right, we're going to need more glass. Actually, it's a crazy amount of glass that we've tore for already. More quartz. More everything. More everything. You don't listen to Lake Malice, but you've seen them live 7 times now. It's a much social thing for you. You've hung out with the band. Sounds like they might be in your like local music scene or something. Which is always cool to have. I mean, the local music scene bands that we saw go from our local music scene to Download Festival was none other than Enter Shikari. How cool is that? I was there at their very first show at Download. I was also there when they played in schools and small pubs and other places. Kind of wild. That their first album and all the demos before it will forever have just that incredible connection, you know? Because it felt like this wild music of the moment, the thing that's going on right now. This band are going places, and then they did. I think even if they didn't, you'd still go back and really enjoy those records. There was something special about it. Love that. Not your local scene, but they come to Scotland often enough. Cool, cool. Posture check. I am sat down and kind of feeling like recovering. Although I did a lot of sitting yesterday. Oh my god. So, when I get to Download, right, there's this particular direction you go in to go to the south car park. And I got to the roundabout and I was like 100% sure. This is where the sat-nav said. And I'm pretty sure that's the road, right? But then there's a sign saying go up the A50 to get to Download. And I was like, oh, I should probably follow the sign then. And as soon as I pulled up onto the A50 and saw the traffic, I was like, no, this goes somewhere else. And it took me the way I went one time. The time I did it before, I whizzed round, there wasn't traffic. But you go around like a bunch of new housing, you go past the airport and across the other side of the entrance to the site. And it's like the long way around to get to the same car park. And I got stuck in traffic for like an hour and a half. And then when I got parked up in my car, there was like another hour of queuing just to get into the festival. And then, you know, queues, delays. I could be annoyed with myself, but here's the thing. I've been blessed. I've been going to live music for so long now. You know, count your blessings. And, God, I've gotten to enjoy so many good things. Why should I ever complain? So I didn't really let it get to me. It's a bit annoying when you're sat in traffic, but, you know, once you get in the arena and the day begins, you just forget about it and enjoy the show. So, yeah, a bit of mistake there, a lesson learned. I kind of knew it at the moment I made the decision, right? But, like, the sign just convinced me for some reason. And then the second I went that way, I was like, oh, this don't feel right. I should have turned around and gone the other direction, but... yeah, hope... oh, no. Only for a little bit. I mean, considering I've just noticed I'm putting down the wrong block, maybe that's because I only just started using the wrong block, right? Hopefully that's how that works. Are these actually instant mine? I'm sort of treating them like they are, but they aren't. They feel like they instant mine every now and then. Now, what I'm seeing is that this here is smooth. Okay, yeah, and then here's this stuff. Okay, we're good. We got on top of that before it became too much of a problem, right? Very good. Okay. Let's go put these into the smelter. Let's get more glass going. Oh, we might have to take a trip to the desert in that case, because I am pretty sure I'm low on that stuff. Right. I'm going to leave behind a couple of stacks, smelt the rest. Maybe just dump some things in here for now. Sounds like we might take a trip to the desert. Yo, we got Lex live here for 6 months. Thank you so much, Lex. We got Tilda MC here for 34. Felt so nostalgic you started playing Skybees. Can't believe it's already been 5 years since my series. I have a little bit of an itch to do modded Minecraft again every now and then. But as you may know, my current thing is to keep the eye on the ball with music and not get pulled into doing other stuff too much. I really enjoy playing D2, by the way. But after the stream, I kind of felt like that was nice, but I probably didn't really need to do that. Like, I'm not gonna play this game enough to like really get into the class of that warlock and like learn all its attributes and stuff. And you know, I gotta be spending my time doing musical stuff, right? Not playing games. Which way do you recommend approaching the car park? Use their guide on the website, but I come from down south. I come from down south, and the way I approach download means you want to pull into the south car park from a specific direction. And when it gives you directions on the website, it's the peach one, by the way. If you want to know what one I used, I'm not saying that's the one you should use, but it's the peach one, right? The coordinates it gives you is off the roundabout, but not by much. It's like, you know, you pull off the roundabout and about 50 meters down the road. That's where it puts it on the map. So, yeah, like it's definitely telling you to go off at that part of the roundabout. But when you get there, the signs aren't there. The signs are telling you to go somewhere else. I don't know why they do that. I don't know why. There's 2 venues in London called Electric Ballroom and Electric Brixton. And I've got on them confused before. And they're in different places. One is in Camden and one is in Brixton, right? I think I've been to both. I've definitely been to the one in Camden. Brixton, not so sure about, because I've been to Brixton plenty of times, but usually it's for the O2. While I understand wanting to use your knowledge to get to festivals, please follow the signs. You've got to annoy the locals if you're driving off route, says the Can of Heaven. No. I think you're misunderstanding. Like, the official instructions are to go one way, but when you get there, there will be a sign telling you to go the other way, right? And, like, I've been there in previous years where there are signs telling you to go down this other road, and it says so on their website, and it makes sense, because otherwise you get driven around the whole thing. But, yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe you're right. Like, the situation just feels like I don't know, for whatever reason, it wasn't signposted correctly or something. But yeah, if I go there again in the future, I'm going the other way, because it's the way I've been to Download Festival many, many times. And yeah, in those times, it's been absolutely fine. That's the way you go in. Like, I'm not sure it was supposed to be any different this year. We got a raid. Thank you for the raids. Hero Millipede. Appreciate Heroic Millipede, yeah. Welcome on in, people. Wolf House, thank you ever so much for 4 months of support. Appreciate you, my dude. Thank you, thank you. Right, we'll chuck those in there for now. I'm going to hold on to that in case I bump into Scar. I did actually see Scar online the other night, but I was preparing for download or something. I was kind of like, I probably shouldn't do this right now. But I want to go find other hermits. I've got to give Scar this. I've got to show other people their records. Not sure if I want to do it on stream, because I want to make sure everything gets recorded correctly. I mean, in theory, my stream stuff is fixed, because I got XB's done. XB's got a great one. Maybe if he's on later today, I'll catch him. Although I'm going to be busy definitely for a few hours, and then I'm probably going to be, like, feeling a bit zonked in the evening. I almost feel a tiny bit zonked right now, so we'll figure out when's a good time. Things will settle down in a week or two, you know. Right, let's yeah, it is this way. Let's go to the desert. And you know, I'm so prepared. I brought a shulker box with me to put all the sand in. I did that, didn't I? Yeah. Let's just nip back to the base and make sure that I definitely did bring a shulker box with me by showing you that the shulker box isn't where it would have been if I'd have left it in my base, you know? What bands did I see it download? If you want the memory-proof list, head over to my music blog and it's all listed there. Let's see if I can Let's see if I can do it justice. We'll go through it all one by one. So I missed out on there was some really cool like grime, hip hop, metal crossover bands playing at the beginning of the day, which I really wanted to see. And then there was POD. I missed all of that. Ah, look, see, there would have been shulker boxes there had I not put them in my inventory before heading out. We use zonked in very different ways, I see. Here in the UK, zonked sort of means like, ugh, tired. Might also mean you're like high, but more so when I hear it, it's like kind of tired to the point of just being useless. So, first band that I saw went all the way up to the Dogtooth stage. And it was that James and the Gun or something they're called. That was pretty good. I really enjoyed that. Then I think I headed... Oh, I like that. I wonder what this is. That is an odd looking position. Some grunting going on here. Yeah, so after that... Was it Paleface Swiss? I think it was Paleface Swiss after that. Then headed on down to this tent, which they've moved to the other side, like to the back of the main stage. It felt like a strange place to put it, and it looked like it wasn't pulling a lot of traffic to it. So it'd be interesting to see if they keep it there next year, if it works or not. I went and watched Lakeview there, I think, and that was like a nice sort of... you know, perk of the ears. Ah, we're at a festival. Here's some really great music, you know, like... Whenever you go watch bands, and then there's that one band where, like, things start to pick up. This doesn't feel like it, by the way. This... Maybe it is. Actually, yeah, no, it goes to Basalt Delta, so maybe this is the way. So there was Lakeview. They were fantastic, like a mix of modern country and modern metal sounds. It's almost exclusively used as a cinnamon to stoned here. Ah, okay. James and the Cold Gun, that's it, yep. So after Lakeview, I think that might have been Creeper. And I went to the wrong place to watch them. I thought they were on the main stage. They weren't. Because the stages are called Opus and Apex, and I didn't really take a lot of time to distinguish them. I think I'm just getting old, right? Like... Old people make silly mistakes as us young people look at it. But now I think I'm starting to experience it. It's like your minds just took in stuff like that without thinking about it at one point. And now you get silly little things wrong and you realize I need to take a little bit more time to take this information in. Oh, this is all sandstone here. So yeah, I went to the wrong place to watch Creeper. That's when I got my first little bit of festival food. There's this like vegan falafel, like vegan falafel and hummus stand that's always there. And I feel like they've gone downhill a lot over the years because I remember, this is a little bit loud, these sounds. I remember getting those pita bread with salad in. I remember it having raisins in because I was like, oh, this has got hummus and raisins in. Wow, this is so nice. And carrot and stuff in there. It used to be great to get food from there. And I think last time I got one, I remember it being a bit disappointing. And it was kind of a bit disappointing again. But I noticed that like the amount of ingredients in the salad were pretty pants. There was no like tomatoes in there. It was like coleslaw mix. And one of my gripes, I think, with Download Festival is that it does feel a little predatory these days. It does feel like it's a corporate festival that's pushing some margins, and you feel that when you go and get the food. And you know, like sometimes festival food can be really cool because there's like a nice big variety and whatnot. But the Download Festival food for the last year I went and this year was not impressive. Of course, it was expensive. Expect to pay about 13, 14, 15 pounds for a meal. And both of my meals, they felt like they were about, I don't know, 800 calories. Like, that is expensive. And that is not a full meal, you know? That's why I had a big English breakfast today, because I can feel it. I did not get enough food yesterday. You can get water from the water points. There are water points around downloads. Take a bottle with you. This year, I didn't encounter any queues for them. They seem to have upgraded those facilities. Usually, you got the tap that drips unbelievably slow, and there's a massive queue just to get your water bottle filled up. This time, it was like all the taps were working. Seems like maybe they fixed something there. But yeah, I didn't think the food was that great. The other thing that I got was chicken tenders and chips. I was really thankful I found that. That to me is a real good meal to have at a festival, because like chips is just like cheap carbs, good old reliable chips, and then the chicken tenders just, you know, make sure you get some protein in. I always kind of like that sort of meal on the go. But yeah, that vegan falafel thing, I feel like that's going downhill a bit. I don't think I'll order from them again. It's just less salad. And the bread was a bit, Is it the same stupid rule, crushable plastic bottles, or can you bring a normal bottle in? I don't know, but to me it feels like it's a little more lax. I didn't read all the rules. I just took a plastic bottle in with me. I did notice other people had bags with like proper bottles for water, so maybe they've changed the rules there. But yeah, like download in general feels like it's a festival to make money, and not all festivals are like that. Like some take care of the people that are there better. And so, yeah, I just every year you go there, it gets more expensive, and I think it's started to really hit the food now. When I was there, the water points had hour-long queues. This was 2023 when it was very hot. Yeah, well, I've been going for a long time, and I always remember the taps for drinkable water being pretty bad. It was like there'd be low pressure, and you'd have to wait a long time to fill your water up, and you have to wait a long time to get to the point where you could fill it up, you know, in the queue. This year, though, it was just zippy. It was like there was never a queue, and my bottle got filled up really quick. Tenders, says Fudgularity. The best chicken tenders I've ever had was in New Jersey when I was watching the New York Red Bulls, because they play in New Jersey, obviously. I thought I was done eating for the day, but we just had this absolute trek around the city to get to the match. And, you know, first half of the match, I was thinking to myself, I am absolutely starving. I'm just going to eat something. I know it's late in the day. I know I thought I'd eaten lots already. I'm just going to... So I go get these chicken and chips, and, like, this is the first time I had chicken tenders and knew what it was. Like, I probably had them at some point before, but... in America, they call them chicken tenders. I'm like, oh, what's that? Let's get some of those. And I sat there, and it was like the most gorgeous meal ever. You know, when you're really hungry and you have a good meal, that's something. You wouldn't download a festival? Say what? You sound like a piracy advert right now. Any bands I'd recommend to see that I listen to at download? You need to listen to more than the same 5 songs. Well, tell me what you're into musically and why you're interested in download bands, and I'll see if I can nudge you in a direction. Because, you know, it's not just download related bands. I know loads and loads of music, so... What's the download festival? Chimera Google doesn't exist. You can't use it. Okay, so please invent it. For your own sake, come on. Don't be a slacker. You should try tenders with cream and mushroom sauce. It's a yummy combo. That sounds great. Yeah, I imagine it could be nice with all types of different sauce. Like, mine came with some spicy buffalo sauce. It was really good. But I like the sound of the cream and mushroom sauce. That sounds more like a soupy sauce. The sauce I had was like out of the bottle, probably got lots of sugar in it type sauce. But at download, I'll take whatever I can get. But yeah, good luck with the food tomorrow, Penelope. If I could tell you, if I could recommend, if you like chicken and chips, all right, I got it from a place that was Let's see. Left side of the main stage, if you were facing it, like left as in near the front left, so over from the crowd as far as you can go left, and it was next to a couple of coffee stands. They seem to put those coffee stands towards the exits, I've noticed. So it was around there that I got my chicken and chips, and then I marched on in to watch Cypress Hill after I ate them. And Cypress Hill was really, really nostalgic for me. But I wasn't convinced they put on the best of shows for like the average person or anything. I think their music may not just really hit so hard anymore. Like, I'd love to bang on and tell you how amazing Cypress Hill are, but when stuff's old, I think it just gets harder for younger people to get into it. Like, if you can do it, if you can be attracted to the old music and understand its context and why it was so cool at the time or whatever, like, that's awesome. That's always great. That's what I like to do. I like to go listen to something from whatever and try and, like, figure out, like, why was this what it was at the time. And Cypress Hill are just incredible, right? Incredible. But I'm not sure their live show sells you on that anymore. But I loved it because just hearing all those old songs again, very nostalgic. Very nostalgic. The name made me think it was an online thingy. You see now, it's the name of the festival, yeah. You'll listen to anything. You've listened to songs a bit cringy kind of songs. Mother, Nirvana, Pearl Jam. Are those cringy? You've listened to Woodkid, Arctic Monkeys, Asia Erotica, and Rap. Tyler the Creator, a bit of MF Doom. Doshi. Okay, right. Homework for you then. Okay, Rap. Rap, you're going to go listen to Nas's Illmatic. Write it down. Nas Nas. Illmatic. Alright. Let's throw Cypress Hill in the mix. Why not? Since we're talking about them. Which album? Probably Black Sunday. I mean, it might be Home to Insane in the Membrane, right? The one, like, air quote pop song or whatever. It isn't even really a pop song, but like the rest of the album is absolutely banging. That's a good song, by the way. Like, I'm not knocking it. Insane in the Membrane's awesome. It's just, it's a radio song as well. Grunge. Let's go with Alice in Chains. That's like a little bit of metal meets grunge. Listen to the album Dirt by Alice in Chains. All right, I've given you 3 albums, 2 hip hop, 1 grunge metal. That's your homework. Who else needs homework? I'll give you an assignment. Download Festival was originally called Monsters of Rock. Yeah, that's right. Please repeat, I wasn't by paper. Nas Illmatic. NAS Nas, that is. NAS, Nas Illmatic. Cypress Hill Black Sunday. And then Alice in Chains Dirt. Cypress Hill Black Sunday, Alice in Chains Dirt. I mean, we can make it a 5 if you want 5 albums, like I can get you there. Just tell me if you want more. Bone Thugs E99 Eternal. I love that. I love that that album, but I wouldn't put it at the top of my recommended list right now. Oh, you'll take a black metal homework. Lol. I need to get into it rather than just post black metal and black gaze. Ah, interesting. So you'll be working back from that. Zonic, I'm on it. I'm on it for you. My brain's calculating stuff. We're just waiting back to hear from Nobel. Another 2 can't hurt, said I'd be a punk. Sure, I don't mind. I'll get those all written down. All right. I feel like I'm gonna throw out. I sort of want to. I'll go with the. No, let's not. Just trying to think. What were you saying you listened to? Arctic Monkeys and stuff? Let me go back and read your message again because I got that now. Pearl Jam, Nirvana, Mother. Yeah, actually, I was brain's going a little bit slow. Maybe it's because of how run down I am. Let's just stick with 3 albums for now. Let's do 3 album lists, all right? Let's just do 3. We'll leave it there. What's the difference between black metal and gothic metal? Great question. Okay, so I'd be a punk, right? Gothic rock comes out of the post-punk umbrella of sounds, right? Punk music puts power chords in people's hands and says, you know, anyone can make music, right? Essentially, like you don't need to be classically trained. You don't need to know music theory. Like, you can make music that sounds great. And so punk is like a musical revolution. Post-punk is like that then allows a lot of new people to come into the musical space and experiment and create different sounds. And that's where gothic rock arrives, right? People strip back the punk sound. They start getting a little bit dramatic, gloomy, whatever the sort of gothic stuff evokes for you. And then gothic metal is just a sort of continuation of that, where metal bands realize, oh, we can take elements of gothic rock and make it gothic metal. So it tends to be lower paced stuff that's quite like doomish and theatric, maybe like a lot of like deep vocal singing, bluesy kind of melodies. But then black metal is quite different. Black metal is not gothic. It's easy to make that mistake if you're like on the outside looking in, not used to this culture. Black metal is more about being as extreme as you possibly can, and the thing that it turns to in which to be that extreme is things like Satanism. Now, part of the original Norwegian mythos is that these are rebellious kids, and you can look at it like, they're just a bunch of kids being rebellious, but like they took it very far. And so like are they actually Satanists, or is it like a tongue-in-cheek anti-religious thing? You know, you'll have to make up your own mind about it. But the music aims to be very extreme, and with that comes low fidelity production, so deliberately making your records sound like dark and dingy and ugly. Lots of blast beats, so like really just nailing on the drums monotonely. Lots of like angular riff work, and tremolo picking is very popular in the genre. So like all of these tropes kind of add up to a different sound, and it's easy to like confuse the two if you're on the outside looking in, but they're quite distinctively different. As for like a list of black metal albums, okay, I'm just gonna give you the classics, right? You gotta listen to Emperors in the Night Side Eclipse, okay? That's you know, a black metal classic right out of the period of black metal. However, it's also symphonic black metal. It's like way more musical in some degrees than the other records of the time are, and it's just so dang good that everyone like lumps it into the black metal category. But you can kind of make a distinction. So that's going to be your introduction into the symphonic side. You got to listen to Mayhem's De Mysteris Dom Sathanas. That is just a brilliant black metal record. Kind of a bit of an all-rounder, I think, for nailing like the dark sound. And the guy who wrote many of the riffs you'll hear on that record is the guy who pioneered the Norwegian sound, like who was at the heart of the scene and sort of prodded everything in the direction it went. And then I would say, now I'm really bad at remembering the album names. It doesn't help when the song name of the same album is on a different record, but it's the Burzum record that has the track Tomhet on it. And it's a 4-track album, and I think it's called Hivet Tar Os Is or something like that. And on the album cover, you see a classic Theodore Kettleson painting of basically a corpse lying down on a road in a forest. Or a path, maybe we'd say, more than a road. Those are your 3 black metal ones, right? So you're going to get like the broad sort of what black metal is on Mayhem's records. You're going to get the symphonic turn on Emperors, and then with Burzum's you're going to get this weird, natural, esoteric vibe that comes through. because that sound went on to influence a lot of the more esoteric black metal, and you get a little bit of dungeon synth thrown in the mix. You get to see where like some overlap with that scene is as well from that record. You need to rewatch the VOD later and write all of this down, says Lex Live. We could do a little like a little I don't know what you call it really, but like a little album list infographic or something. Notes have been taken. Symphonic black metal sounds right up your alley. Awesome. Well, hey, if you like symphonic black metal, check out this Soulside Eclipse record. Probably a great introduction to the stuff, because to be fair, most of the record is on the light side, the very light side. But it does take a plunge into the darkness of symphonic black metal at one point. Like that is my favorite genre of music, and that is why my music is styled and heavily influenced by it, as well as other things. But yeah, if you like the sound of melding that sort of extreme black metal ethos with some really good symphony style music, then you know it's all in the name, isn't it? It's all in the name. That was a smooth plug. Yeah, it worked out pretty well, didn't it? It worked out pretty good. I mean, for like the one person here that maybe hasn't heard that before, because, you know, I'm always banging on about it. But I gotta, right? I gotta promote my own stuff. Plus, I'm writing a new record. I have had some great times working with my music recently and really getting some stuff done and advancing the songs that I have and feeling like an album might be coming together, but not in a I gotta get it done way, in a I gotta enjoy the journey way. You learn symphonic power metal. Opeth is awesome. Just to point out, Opeth is not symphonic power metal. I'm sure they sneak in a few string sections here and there, but Opeth would be progressive death metal with a lean towards, I guess, some like folkish kind of sounds at times. You specifically like alternative indie gospel pop metal? I mean, it can be done. We can find enough of those elements and mix them together. I mean, have you heard Zeal and Ardor? There's a extravagant mix of sounds in their music, which I'm a big fan of. Big fan, big diameter, me. Many RPMs. It's more progressive folk metal. Opeth, I don't know. I don't think so. I think maybe later, yeah, but like early on, there's so much death in there. But the thing about like when you call them prog is there's like different takes on what prog is. To me, it's progressive in the sense of like song structure and being way more musical than other artists in your similar lane are, right? Because it doesn't sound like, you know, prog rock. It doesn't sound like Genesis meets death metal. It's, you know, progressive has, I guess, a bunch of different ways of looking at it. Right, I need to hydrate. Dev, thinking of getting a used drum kit. Great way to start, man. Great way to figure out if it's for you or not. Get a used kit. Yeah, you could do a lot with that. You can do a lot with a used kit. Your friend introduced you to Nagaroth the other day. Do you like him? I never really got into Nagaroth. Oh, back when I was obsessed with black metal, there's quite a few bands around that scene that I never really got too into, but I was very aware of. Nagaroth would be one of them. Teslas, thank you so much for 25 months, and the Criminal Squirrel, thank you for 6 months. Appreciate you, my dude. Thanks for supporting the channel. Techno music recommendation. My techno music knowledge is so unbelievably limited. The best I could probably do is da 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 na da na 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 da na. There's no limit. I love that song, by the way. It's an absolute classic. Yeah, there's a few sounds like techno, for example, where like I love the aesthetic, but I never find like the right kind of melodies and stuff for me. So I have a handful of techno type stuff in my archive, and the one that always comes to mind is so obscure because I can't even figure out. I can't remember where I got it, how I got it, like what the heck it is. I've tried doing reverse searches on the names, on the songs themselves. I've never been able to figure out like who this artist is and what this album of theirs that I have, but I love it. And I like to go listen to it again every now and then. It seems to mean something different in metal nowadays, reckon. Which thing does? And XE, as a dark metal singer myself, I'm excited to listen to your album. I had no idea, so I'm the one you've reached. Oh, wow. Oh, we reached someone today. I love it. Thanks for letting us know. Yeah, by the way, my album doesn't have vocals on it, so if you want to get inspired and sing along and, you know, have at it. I've been thinking a little bit lately. I think I'm going to, like, stick on my current path with making the second record. And the second record is going to be, like, a continuation of the process of writing music as I've known it. But I think going into future records, I want to sort of rebuild how I look at making music. And I've been considering maybe starting with lyrics for the purpose of, like, trying to have something expressed that doesn't require me to create a whole song, and then seeing what happens when I try and put music to that. Because one of my favorite musical moments came from very intentionally trying to take a bad negative moment and turn it into a song. And that is the song Anxious... Was it called Anxious Obscurity? I feel like I'm getting that. Yeah, no, Anxious Obscurity, right? Track 2. Or 3. I don't even remember how I put my own album together now. I'm forgetting the songs. Wow. Anxious Obscurity. You know, I had this day where I've been putting a lot of time and effort into something, like for and with a friend, and found myself like very casually cut out of what we were trying to do. And it was really sore. It was like just rough to deal with, and yeah, it gave me, you know, a very bad mood. And I just decided to like go to the guitar and start writing about how I felt, and like then it all just came out of me, and I made that. Anxious Obscurity, yeah, that's the one. X, do you listen to brutal death metal? I've listened to my share. It's the kind of genre that's fun for a while, but then after a while you've kind of heard it all, you know what I mean? But yeah, I like heavy brutal death metal. I like slam. I've listened to grindcore and all the, you know, crazy, ridiculous, over the top incarnations that people put together of that stuff. Go take a shower if you're so thirsty. What's this? Captain says, I love that song. Glad to hear it. Yeah, hopefully you can feel it. I feel like, you know, when I listen to it, obviously I know what it's about, but I feel like it's a song that really does convey a feeling. And the beauty of that is that you find your own feeling in it. You don't have to feel what I felt, but like, I feel like that's the sort of song on the record. Like, maybe you go listen to like Arcane Pandemonium and it's like, what the heck is this? I don't know how to feel, you know? I get that, but like a song like Anxious Obscurity, I think is maybe universal is the word I'm looking for. It's just got a bit more of a universally understood tone to it, which I am pleased about, I guess. Can I give you goth metal recommendations? I'm not too into goth metal, but Typo Negative would be a great one. My Dying Bride. All right, so let's not go too fast. Typo Negative, My Dying Bride. I feel like there's some other obvious one in the mix, or maybe we could go a little goth rock. Just throw some roots in there if you want. Because I've listened to some of the classic Christian Death. You said I was stalling to try and think of the name of it. Christian Death. Listen to the first Christian Death album if you want some classic goth rock. I was also thinking of another band who I think their first album wasn't goth rock, but they turned goth rock. They're called True Sounds of Liberty, and I really like their first one. Marilyn Manson. Marilyn Manson is, we say industrial metal, but I don't think Marilyn Manson is that gothic, honestly. Like, obviously he looks gothic in a way, but I wouldn't call his music gothic. Bauhaus, that's a classic goth rock album right there, yeah. Shock rock, I've never really gotten into shock rock. That's kind of not my thing. You don't know if he counts, but you put him in the same group in your head. Yeah, it's very easy, I think, to put him in the goth category. But like, I think if you break down his music stylistically, he's obviously influenced by like a range of sounds, and goth will be a part of that. But I feel like, despite the image and the look, to me, I don't hear his music in a gothic way. Like, gothic just has this particular sort of Edwardian vibe to it, like a sort of sense of a dark past. You know, all the vampires and stuff like that. Transylvanian, whatever. There's certain like images and feelings that gothic stuff conjures up, and I don't think Marilyn Manson is really like that. Early Ministry is synth pop, right? Which synth pop has its adjacency to goth rock, I guess, because it's a post-punk thing again. Have I dabbled into speed metal before? Kinda. Like, speed metal is one of those sort of terms that got thrown around at the time that thrash metal was coming out. Like, Metallica's first album, Kill 'Em All, was called speed metal before it was called thrash metal, if I remember correctly. So I would say not specifically, but I've done my due diligence in the past and gone through and listened to so many bands from like the 70s and 80s and really like understood the history of the music that I must have come across like the speed metal bands or whatever. But they tend to be like, if a band's speed metal, they probably get referred to as heavy metal or thrash metal as well. Like, you know, it feels like one of those genres that's not quite well defined. Twitch was a goth industrial weirdo. What about Skinny Puppy? I love Skinny Puppy, yeah. Well, I say I love them. I'm very enthusiastic about music. I've really enjoyed listening to their records. I can't say they're the best records I've ever listened to, but like, I'm just ever so appreciative of all the different like musical creativity that goes on out there, and Skinny Puppy definitely has some vibes on some of their songs in places, right? Okay, that's where fuel goes. I sort of want to bypass our little... Oh, I'll tell you what, we'll just dump this stuff into there and use the golem. Problem solved, right? You're still standing there looking sad and awkward. Right, so we'll dump all of that in for now. That'll all get turned into glass. So I didn't want to bother with all of this, and then I kind of realized, wait a minute, this is easier. Right, so now you'll go to work. Good, good, good. And I think we need more fuel up in this thing. You're enjoying ethereal metal at the moment. Nice, nice. Oh, you made me think of an ethereal goth record. Cold. Is the band's name? This poor old little brain of mine is getting slower with age. I hate it. Lycria. I think they're called Lycria, and the album is Cold, and it is a solid classic if you want to hear something ethereal, dark, dreary, and kind of beautiful and very gothy at the same time. Einsenstraut's New Baton Goth Industrial. I've listened to them. I know who they are. Long time ago I listened to them. I got the old man emote in chat. Brilliant. There's a song you love that can only be described as speed metal because of its pacing and whatnot. Well, to be accurate, it's symphonic speed metal, but you know. What's the song? What's the song? 90s Swans is a good shout out. I listened to that one record, and like the second I hear Swans, I hear this like slow, like bellowing drum and this deep voice like proclaiming stuff. And it was a Swans record. It's got some crosses on it, I think. And it is just like this record of like heavy burden, like some sort of like religious weight on this person's shoulder. It's wild. I forget the name of that. Children of God, that's it. Oh man, I need to do like a, I keep saying this to myself and never finding the time. I need to stop watching YouTube videos and I need to start going through my music blog and just digging out some, re-enjoying some classics, you know? Because I've just gotten into this habit of like, you know, listening to stuff a bunch of times and then putting it away. Esoterica, London-based ethereal metal band you've really been enjoying. Guess what? Guess what? I saw them at Download in like 2007. And then I saw them a couple of years later where the singer brought a crow on stage and let it fly around, which I don't know what the festival organisers thought of that, but it was like, all right, mate, you brought a crow. Interesting. I loved them at the time. They did that cover of that like techno dance song, not techno, not, you know, that kind of like European electronica. God, it's such a broad umbrella of sounds. Anyway, like a club song, I think is what I'm trying to say, called Silence, and I loved their cover of it. And I listened to their album, and I thought they were cool. And then like loads of years later, they come back and they're doing really great covers of classic 80s songs and new stuff too. And I'm all for it. Like it all sounds great. Really cool band. Really cool band. Jarvis Cyber MC, thank you ever so much for the Prime subscription. I appreciate you using it on me, my dude. Thank you for supporting the channel. Fudgularity says like that song hits 300 BPMs at some point. It's insane. The thing with going that fast is that I don't think you can realistically drum that fast or even like pick. So like when you set tempo on a song, right? You can double your tempo and halve your notation. I've noticed this because I write music in notation with tempos, and I've noticed sometimes that like my riffs fit differently on the score when it's a fast tempo. And what it is that I'm actually sort of like riffing at the same speed, but just adapting it to the tempo. Looks like we've got visitors. One of them's a creeper. Now it's... oh, no, not quite. Alright. They didn't have much space to spawn, but they spawned anyway. Without knowing anything about crows, I feel like that would be pretty stressful for the crow. Yeah, it probably was. It probably was. Today they might even say animal cruelty or something. Any prog metal recommendations? I really like Opeth. I want to dive a bit deeper. Mergin, they have an extensive discography worth exploring. But for you, I'm going to say that you should listen to Kyros, 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 and it's their latest album. I even got a weird feeling it's called... let me go look it up. Because I feel like I'm going to be dumb if I'm wrong. So I'm going to protect myself. What is the name of their latest album? Okay, I protected myself. It's called Mannequin. I thought it was called Esoterica for some reason. I was like, no, you're just thinking that word because we just talked about that band. It's called Mannequin. It's called Mannequin. Love that record. Give that one a listen. You want, like, progressive metal can mean so much, so I'll throw something really different at you. Periphery. Okay, I shouldn't use Wikipedia again. Wait, isn't this... no, this is not what I should be doing. I need to use my muscle. I used to use my brain memory muscle. Stop using the computer to answer your questions, X. The Periphery record, I think it's got gold in the name of it. I can hear the songs, but I can't think of the names of them. You found nautical dungeon synth, Becca. Oh my god. Any of it actually decent? Like, you know, come on, Becca. Do you know what I'm talking about? Some of that stuff is like so low effort in the sort of like dungeon synth, but oh, we're gonna throw something else on top of it, right? Like occasionally you come across something that's like, oh, actually, there's something to this, right? Like there was Dino Synth. Remember Dino Synth? Have I made a song with someone X? Yeah, I've got a song on my, I say on my computer. Like me and my mate wrote a song years and years ago, and I was kind of tempted to maybe get those songs produced, that one and another one, but I don't know. Like, because I feel like I might open a bit of a rabbit hole then, because there's loads of like old stuff that's like halfway there or half baked or whatever, and do I really need to release some sort of B-side thing? I'm not sure. Vampire Synth, that really could have been a thing, but it kind of got like flooded. Def, individual thought patterns. Def is probably a great shout for a progressive band. I would have gone with Symbolic. Yeah, I would have gone with Symbolic for a Def recommendation, but individual thought patterns is a good one. That is definitely like progressive metal, but death metal as well. I always just seem to think of it as death metal first. Infant Annihilator. To me, that kind of goes in the sort of jokey area of like, hey, want to hear something really crazy and extreme? Kinda, but not. Right, let's get this thing working again. So we need some emerald blocks. Might have to go buy some from Impulse. Oh, we need some stairs. If I'm to get out of here, we need some stairs. Release the X-Files? What are the X-Files? I assume you're referring to me somehow. If you want to watch the X-Files, I mean, that's, you know, go watch it on streaming or whatever. I need to craft, and the thing to craft isn't here. So let's put it here. Yeah, stairs, please. Thank you. Right, we left off about here. Do we keep going? We keep going? This is a beautiful song, by the way. Which one is this? It's catching my ear. Love those adorning strings. A noble folly I decree. I decree it! Sunflower is excited to be here. Hello, welcome to the stream. An experimental album called The X-Files would be funny. You know what, let me tell you something, right? AI, generative music, all of that. If AI can take my music as I compose it currently and produce it like I want it to sound, that is crazy mad tempting. But it does cut a human out of the mix. Now for me, like I said earlier, the generative side is ugly, but like the idea of the bit that can bridge the gap from like what's in my head that I've put down on paper, like I've realized recently something, which is I don't think I'm gonna have the time in this life to like learn all of the different skills that go into making music, right? And I need to focus a little bit more on like where the creativity for composing comes from. That's what I've learned recently. Composing is something that I really love, right? The fun is making it yourself. You want real music. You're not hearing me. You're not hearing me, right? Like I'm saying, I write and compose music. I play my instruments. I make sounds of them. I put them together. I compose. Here's the drums. Here's the guitars. Here's the bass. Here's how you play it. Now, as for capturing that with the correct aesthetics, I can't do that. That's a highly like skilled thing. And that's an important word here because what AI does is it replaces skill, right? Now, I want to keep humans in the loop as much as possible, But a lot of these things come down to spending money, right? Like, it's expensive to do. And if AI lowers the barrier for that, it becomes tempting. Please pay attention to the words I'm using. Tempting. Like, I'm not saying I'm going to do this. I'm just saying that's what it feels like, right? And I'm not sure it's the right decision, and I would think about it carefully before I did anything and made sure I was justified in my reasoning to do so if I did, right? I'm just getting at, like, I have weaknesses, and producing music is one of them. I can't do it. I maybe could have built that skill, and I've recently realized that there's probably an extensive amount of time, and I really need to dedicate time to my other crafts, right? Which is going to be composing and learning to play my instruments in a way that gets more creativity out of myself. Right? Like, I think if I had gotten into it when I was younger and I could learn faster and stuff, but I'm just acknowledging that I'm getting old and the mental faculties are not quite as sharp. So I have to work really hard to keep my composing stuff going, and that probably means there isn't time to also learn producing on the side, right? I really wish there was like a pill I could take that would just make my brain smart again and just absorb all the information so I could do that. That would be lovely, but I can't. Anyway, so like talking about getting some extra songs produced, that's like a financial decision, and I'm wary of, like, you know, how long can I afford to make albums for and have them produced by someone, because that costs money. So, like, you know, there's that. This is probably something bands go through, right? They're producing an album, which songs get to be on it? That part of that is, you know, you've been given a budget for an album, you can't record everything you want, right? We have noises in the ear. Right here. It's Emerald Hulk gifting some subs. Thank you so much. And Becca's coming in with a gifted sub to Captain Alex as well. 1,001 gifted subs. That's absolutely crazy, Becca. And thank you again, Emerald Hulk. Speaking of which, I need to put emeralds in this build. For everyone who was gifted a sub, you're able to join the Let's Play Minecraft Together community. That is a Minecraft server. If you're looking for a server to play on, maybe make some new friends, you can join for a month with your gifted sub and consider it a trial, you know. Come along, participate in some events, hang out with peeps if you like what you find. Also, I don't think Wainbow's around, but if Wainbow you are by some chance, we have time for a tour if you want to lead us in the right direction. We do not have the emeralds for this. I'm gonna go buy some more from Impulse. Hey, Penelope Sky, thank you for gifting a sub as well. Much appreciated. One more in the mix right there. CBY, that's for you. Be sure to say thanks if you got one in the chat. Mastering tools have become a significant thing recently, but a lot of them seem to fall into the trap of volume normalization, says Ionic. The mastering tools that I've used in Fruity Loops, they kind of strike me as the same thing. Not that I really know a lot about that. My basic kind of rough understanding, I would say, yeah, it looks like that. This is like an AI thing when we talk about generative AI. If you're in the music industry, tools like this have been advanced by AI and machine learning, like mastering tracks. There is software in the studio of your favorite songs that have been enhanced by the use of tools that fall under the umbrella of AI. Not all of them are generative. Not all of them are ChatGPT. Not all of them are these data-intensive, data center-hungry things, right? Like, I have a feeling Suno is something that runs basically off of data centers, but there's other software that just runs locally on your computer. I mean, I keep forgetting that I installed some chatbots on my computer, and I could use them to do research instead of using Claude, which means I'm using my own computer here instead of cloud. I need to get in the habit of using it again. Again, everything not black and white, right? Just always trying to point that out. Like, we need to like discuss to broaden our understanding of all the different ways of looking at this and what's actually going on. Kooks says, as much as I hate parts of AI like art, music, movie plagiarism, I'll admit it's helped me learn certain things. Yeah, and that's great, because, like, express it like that. Point out the things you don't like, point out the things that you do. Let's talk about it. That's the way I think we need to be with these things. Otherwise, things get a little bit tribal. People saying the full name of FL always gets me. Fruity Loops is such a unserious name. It is. I like it, though. Like, and plus there's the cereal, which is always funny. Synthetic birds is your favorite? Oh, I'd love to hear it. Love to hear it. There's a world of little odd ideas and things that I toyed around with in that song. I don't know if you can hear them, but there's like odd time signatures and other things I do with the drums and synths, and it's all about just having a good time in the song making process, which is why it's actually a demo, is because it's just me having fun in Fruity Loops and putting together a song. The stuff that I do in Guitar Pro that then in MIDI basically that then becomes an album track is like way more serious. There's like much more of my ear and vision in that aspect of the music, right? And I've got something I really want to share. I really want to get like this track figured out. It's been eating at me for ages. I tend to do that a lot with the music, especially in Fruity Loops, is like writing, getting somewhere, and then all of a sudden just not finding the next thing you need to do. And I'm taking an approach at the moment of like experimentation, where you start with an idea on how to compose or approach your instrument. So like you say, I can only use these two strings, right? Or maybe you write down the rhythm before you even play. You go from triplets to regular and then back to triplets and then regular. Like once you create some sort of starting point like that, creativity can emerge from it in like interesting ways. That's kind of my goal at the moment, is to like get into the habit of doing that, because good things come out of it. And I hope to do it when I go back to this song, because I've got this beautiful like crazy space synth with this just gorgeous melody in it that's like slow and awe-inspiring, but then I can't pivot from it. Like I've done loads of composing to pivot from it and nothing like really sticks, and I just need to like experiment more and try and find it. But it's all about time, right? Never seem to have enough time. All right, we need emerald blocks and we need note blocks. Correction, hate is a big word. I dislike it, says Wolfhouse. Yeah, I dislike using hate casually. I correct my nephew on it to the point where he now sort of knows I'm going to correct him. And then he loves to correct me if I say it. But like, I really think that hate is a strong word. And we need to be careful when we use it, because we use it so casually. But I'm kind of a big believer in, like, there's a feedback loop with language. I think if you say a lot of negative things, you're sort of tilting your mind to think negatively. I stood behind someone at Download yesterday who just did nothing but complain and talk BS about other people. And for the entire time I was in the queue behind them, I sort of thought, I don't know who you are, but like, I know that you can complain and moan about a heck of a lot of stuff and other people, and like, you know, maybe that says a lot about you. Joel Duggan, thank you for another raid. I owe you one, you know that. Maybe I'll catch you on a midday stream at some point. But thank you so much, my friend, and hope all is well. Hope all's good with the podcast. Man, you and Pix, always on it. Never miss a week. It's good to see. Riri says, correct me if I'm wrong, if AI is going to steal the music that you created and remade it, you no longer have the copyright for that because of the law where AI creators can't be copyrighted, right? I don't know what the latest is. It was that AI content couldn't be copyrighted. It was the last time I heard of it. And like, it feels like we've had all this discussion, and this discussion has even been prompted by the AI people themselves about how we're going to deal with this and what do we need to do. And it's all just talk and nothing's happening. Like, when are we going to like actually sort of come in and go, right, let's lay down some laws, like let's regulate this stuff. I'm starting to see a lot of those like podcast appearances and you know, doing the rounds, talking to the public as just to kind of, I don't know, putting on a good face to get away with it. That's what it's starting to feel like. Haha, no worries, my friend, and thanks. Yes, the spawn chunks are going well. 400 episodes, 8 years in August. Mind blown. Yeah, that's wild, man. 400 episodes, that's awesome. I mean, companies are actively pushing to keep those kind of laws from happening, says Speaker Ender. Yeah, I mean, like, you hear them talk about it, and then, like, what happens behind the scenes with their legal teams and stuff, I don't know. I would like to hear more about that, because if there's people out there reporting on what's happening in the courts and stuff, then it would not surprise me at this point, because it seems like, I guess, that would be the typically corporate thing to do, right? Put on the good face, the PR, and then behind the scenes, you're actually not trying to do anything at all. You're just trying to keep the status quo, right? But status quo is an interesting term and thing to be aware of. Like, what I like about the idea of a status quo is that, do we call it inertia? Like, there's often a lot of, like, stickiness towards keeping things the same. It's like you got lawmakers and rule makers, right? What happens when you want to change who makes the rule makers and lawmakers? Like, they're not going to change the rules to, you know, kick them out, are they, right? So then you need, like, revolution. Then you have, like, a new status quo, a new norm, and then the norm will protect itself. Like, the revolutionaries, when they're in power, they're not going to encourage other revolutions, alternative revolutions. They then become the establishment, and then they protect themselves and their ideology. Like, all ideologies are self-protecting, I guess, is what I'm saying. It's weird. So, like, the status quo is always something that's generally, like, quite sticky. Let's go get some glass. Canada is tabling a law in Parliament similar to Australia, limiting social media access to kids under 16. AI is also a part of that. Nice. I'm down with the limiting of the social media stuff for sure. And I don't know what the AI stuff entails, but we need something. But if something could be simplified, then keeping kids away from social media, that's not a big discussion for me. That's like, yep, let's do that. Status Quo is a great High School Musical song, by the way. Status Quo is a band, and I can't help but feel that if there is a musical, they probably know about the band, and that it might be some sort of tribute to the band. Or related to them in some way. Just guessing. Just guessing. But, like, you know, Status Quo is a band. And they have songs. As bands do. Surprise, surprise. Right, that sorts that one out. Let's sort this out. I should have done this earlier. I forgot to do it. And now we don't have glass, which is annoying. Because I really need glass to do the next bit. But now we're out. I just got a phantom buzz on my Fitbit that isn't there. It's really funny to me how many ideas exist in your head with, like, a degree of burden. But I think it speaks volumes to how, like, I have quite a, like, I don't know, worried, looking for something to be stressed out about mind, which I think is very much something I inherited from my father. And I'm training myself to be different. And stuff has certainly bothered me a lot in the past when things go wrong. And sometimes I noticed even little hiccups in, like, my daily rhythm or something I was going to do that's now changed. Like, they can really, like, trip the wiring in my brain. And it's really quite silly and pedantic in some ways, but, you know, it is what it is. I accept it, and I try and work to be a little better. But, like, the Fitbit thing, it's, like, it's constantly on my mind at the moment that I don't have a Fitbit on me. And, like, so what? It's weird how much I guess I've worn one for so long, right? It's like, it's not like this, because actually when I did this, it was way more dramatic. But when I shaved my beard off, I had a actual identity crisis in which I felt depressed for 3 days and needed to like lay down on my bed after I shaved it off and just like think, what have I done? I look different, you know? I think people would feel that if you looked in the mirror and suddenly something about you looked really different. I think that would probably be a pretty universal trigger for feeling something like what I felt. But anyway, it's all silly. I'm not saying any of it's serious. It's interesting. The mind. But yeah, I've just got a mind that like wants to find something to be worried about sometimes, it feels like. And so you give it a reason and it'll do the rest of the work. Bands have wrists? You thought they just went on your wrist. Bands have songs. I did such a great job of reading that. Bands have wrists? Oh my god. Oh my god. Now I'm picturing some like pretentious band going, yeah, we don't write songs, we write wrists. Oh, we're genius. We're so good. Posture check. I could sit down for a little bit. I feel great standing up. I could sit down for a little bit. We're creatures of habit, so when we don't do our normal routine, we feel off. So as a creature of habit, is my habit worrying? It might be, but also, if I get thrown off my routine, it causes me to worry. Like, but yeah, no, I'm with you. I'm just saying, it's like a chicken or the egg thing. Kinda. Right, this thing never had lighting when I built it, so at some point we've got to put lights in here. For now, we'll just put in the glass around the edge here. Whoops. Same thing happened when I cut my hair. Gender dysphoria and body dysphoria are no joke. Yeah, they will probably be similar. However, probably more severe. I mean, the beard thing really like hit me. It was really weird. I was like well aware of how this was like emotionally disproportionate to what I thought it was going to be. But yeah, if you're going through some deeper stuff like that, then yeah. Okay, right, and then we're out of glass again. First time in the next stream, what are we doing, chat, says Reese? I don't know at the moment. We're all over the place at the moment. We had some great discussions about music, and we did some musical recommendations, some homework lists of albums to listen to. That was fun. I'll always enjoy doing that. When I saw Limp Bizkit play at Download, I noticed on their stage, it'd be cool if there was like a high-res picture of their stage set, because they've got like a bunch of cassette-looking things behind them, and I noticed at one point that you can read some of them. They had John Coltrane, I think De La Soul might have been there, Mobb Deep, Infamous. They had Eric B and Rakim. I just started noticing all these like classic hip hop and some other stuff as well, and I guess they probably put those together based on like their influences and stuff. But yeah, a little something I noticed that I thought was cool. X, are you worried that one day you'll hear a music that sounds alike with your music that you released, but it's generated on Spotify? Not really. However, there's already plenty of music that sounds like my music because it's not particularly original. But I'm not really worried about AI, because unless AI means I can't do what I do to make my music, I'm not really worried about it in how it relates to my music, because I have the choice to do it the way I want to, right? Like, what is with this stuff over here right now? That's weird. The heck is that? Haven't had that all stream, then suddenly, uh-oh, weirdness. Like, what saddens me more about AI generated music is like people not doing music anymore. I fully accept and have predicted that we're probably going to end up in a world where like kids are like, hey, here's how I'm feeling today, assistant, or whatever we're calling it. Siri, Alexa. Yeah, give me some of that like lo-fi jazz hop, but add a little ethereal in the mix. And oh, that's good. Okay, a little more tempo. That's how I'm fit. In fact, just use my Fitbit slash neural implant. I forget what that one's called. Neuralink to suss out my mood and give me the perfect music today. And then it plays it. Oh, I'm in bliss. You know, it's played the exact thing I wanted to hear. I fully accept that technology might go to a place like that. And that people will grow up and that'll be their normal, right? I accept that. But it saddens me that it might end up that way and people might lose the joy of creating music. That to me is the bigger concern, is losing touch with that joy of being able to create your own music and learning to play an instrument, you know? Oh, do I need more emerald? Okay. I will go get more emerald. From wherever I left it. I put them in here, apparently. It would be horrible and so sad, says Annexy. Yeah, and may result in us becoming those old people that think you need to play instruments. Like, just think about how there's hobbies and things that people have done in the past that you're just not interested in. Maybe even something digital we do right now that's right in front of us may have once been done through other means. You know, it's so sad that you kids place blocks in the computer game instead of draw what you're trying to create with paintbrush. Like, it's not a great analogy, is it? But I'm just trying to get you to think about it. And see where it goes, because I'm sure there's something out there that is like a lost art or whatever. It tends to happen. We tend to lose arts. They keep getting lost. I can't find them. Where are the arts? You think we'll always have music, even if it's on tin cans and rubber band guitars? Yep, that is so true. So true. So very, very true. And if we didn't, I don't even know what that means. Nothing beats live music. AI will never be able to do something like that. Oh, I wouldn't be too confident. I'm half joking, I'm half not. Who knows? People have said many grand statements over the years that turned out to be wrong. Especially about technology. They'll never fly, someone said. Then we flew. Everything that's ever been can be invented has been invented. Then we invented more stuff. There's probably plenty more examples like that as well. You've tried to learn various instruments, but the issues you have with your hands make it pretty impossible. Do you have dyspraxia? Because I have dyspraxia and I still play. Like, even if you're playing on hard mode, you can still play. You can still play the game. Shadow of Evil says, I don't think people will stop making music because the act of creating is what feels good. I would like to agree with you, but my concern is that we're entering an age where I think we're like lowering cognitive barriers by constantly using technology to do stuff the brain used to do. And so like hard work is becoming harder. And if young people are given the ability to generate music with just an idea that they put into a prompt or said out loud, that could be greatly more appealing than learning an actual instrument. Look at like something like Guitar Hero, for example. Like, I don't really get why you'd want to play that. Like, if you're going to put time and effort into it, do it on the real thing, is what I would say. And it might become like that. It might become a case of... let's go get some more of this stuff. It might become a case of, you know, you lower the barrier of entry, and so people don't bother to do the learning the instrument bit. I'm sure it won't be everyone, but I think it'll shift it. If you think of a demographic of population, I think you'll shift it. It'll be more people choose to give it a go and do the generative thing, and then it's like, if you're exposed to that, and then all of a sudden you pick up a guitar and you sound like absolute garbage, as you probably will the first time you pick one up, right? Like, then where's the incentive to learn? It's not quite what it was. If things want to get better for kids in the future and young adults today, I believe we may have to move backwards to go forward, especially technology-wise, says Kukis and Milk. Yeah, I've been thinking a little bit like that myself lately. I've been trying to reconnect with a time where technology was different. To me, it tends to come from the doom scrolling thing. I've just noticed so much. I had it again today and I resisted. But like just this tendency to want to like just scroll through the YouTube feed. But like why? Don't know. Just keep doing that. And like where does my mind go when I don't want to do that? I don't know the answer to that either. That don't look very good. I thought maybe we used one of these. What I'm saying is that kind of addictive doom scroll, what's next on the feed, what piques my interest, it's like a very easy access curiosity poker. You poke your curiosity, and every time you do it though, you start taking time away from being creative, exploring what comes out of your mind when you're bored. And I keep trying to get away from those moments where I doom scroll, because I'm just noticing how it's so absorbing, and not in a great way maybe. Kooks, you deleted Instagram and you limit yourself on TikTok and YouTube Shorts. YouTube Shorts, I don't like it, but I do watch the occasional one. I just got to stop this habit of like thinking I'm having like a down moment to look at the phone, and I got to be like, don't use your time for this. Do something else. Look around you. What's going on? Because once you start doing that, you sort of pull your mind away from the creative spaces it could be in. And then you just get like sucked into this sort of pointlessness. It's very, very hard to get my head around in a way. Because I'm realizing more and more how prevalent I am with it. First identified it, thought, oh look, there's the problem, I'll fix that. Nope. Keep doing it. Keep doing it. Right, grab some of that. And we're going to go over here. Ugh. You don't have the YouTube app on your phone? Yeah, maybe I would be smart to remove it from my phone. I almost can't imagine doing that because I use it so often, right? It would definitely get in the way of doing podcasts. I have podcasts which I am in no way trying to miss out on. Like I've got some I definitely want to catch. So maybe then if it's only on my iPad, I use my iPad quite differently. That might be a really good way of doing it. Is just get it off the phone and go from there. Oh, I needed to get glass, didn't I? And I didn't. Instead of doom scrolling, you recently picked up your DS to restart Pokemon and Fire Red. It's so much more fun to be able to focus on one game rather than getting constantly distracted. Yeah, I need something like that as well then. Maybe I should just put my guitar in like a different room and pick it up whenever I get that impulse. I've also noticed that I have a bad habit of skipping over words that I read and I don't know the meaning of. When I was younger, if I didn't know the meaning of something, I would search it or look it up in a dictionary, which is a habit I need to start doing again. We've all got habits we need to start doing, right? It's tricky stuff. It's tricky stuff. Yeah, maybe uninstalling the app isn't a bad idea. I've just got like one or two little things on it that I kind of need an alternate route to, I guess. If I figure those things out, yeah, it might be a huge boon, you know, like You take the time to figure out how to do it properly, and then it might pay dividends. It might be like a really good decision. It's worth finding out. But yeah, it would, for me, it would just make going onto YouTube so much more intentional if I had to go to the iPad. And that, I think, would be a good thing for me. I didn't place all of those in. All the glass right there. Oh, no, wait, what? Oh, it's just tuned differently, isn't it? So all of those are actually there, and they're tuned different. Okay. It's been hard, but you've trained yourself never to click on any minute-long content. Yeah, it's a really good idea not to do that, isn't it? It's so, like, YouTube's so weird at getting your attention, because, like, earlier, I was sitting on the toilet, and I just started watching some video of, like, there's, like, a Michael Jackson demo. But, like, how did it end up here? Like, the feed just surfaces something. I was not even considering listening to his music at that moment in time, but the feed recommended it. And I remember seeing some, like, a while back, seeing this ardent anti-feed sort of slogan, where this person was like, and don't forget, like, to turn off the feed. I don't know. The context was like, they're telling you to not use content or watch content that's been picked by an algorithm, right? In a kind of like raise your fist kind of way, you know, we're rebelling against the system. It just gave it a bit of like a sour taste when I heard it, because there was no explanation as to why with it. Now I'm starting to understand the why a little bit more. Now I think I get what they were trying to get at. They just didn't add any context to it, I guess. Look at that. So the ceiling there is a fair bit higher, which is fine. I was just thinking, our staircase sort of ends. How do you get out of this area? Well, use the elevator thing to get out. Yeah, I guess what I'm trying to say is, like, the original suggestion I heard to, like, and don't watch algorithmically suggested content was very like, fight the good fight. Here's the revolution or whatever. I don't know, that sort of attitude. And I was like, why? now I think I'm starting to get it. This is why slogans can be so bad sometimes, because if you don't have the broader context, it's just like, you might not get what people are saying. Like, just stop oil. But it seems like, no, they actually mean just stop oil, which I don't understand. But it's a pretty bad slogan. The deeper you dive into the algorithm, the more you get stuck in it. It feels like it. Yep, it feels like it. I like this song. It's really foreboding. Right, let's grab some scaffolding. And I need to check, ironically, something on my phone. Ah. Yep, that's good. Okay. Okay, what did we do today? We got this done. I want to take a screenshot for the second channel, but all the screenshots have just become really boring lately, because it's just like, oh, here's this hole and here's some stuff in it. We got nothing good to screenshot around here, have we? Not even a screenshot of the base. Oh, I guess it is what it is sometimes. Where are we going? Free cam. I think I like that one maybe the most. It's something. We'll figure something out. Peeps, you may have figured it out. I'm wrapping up my stream here. I want to say a big thank you for everyone for tuning in. Appreciate y'all. Thank you for the gifted subs. Thank you for everyone who subscribed. You know, X appreciates your support, and thanks you for coming out and hanging out with me again. I'll be back again on Monday. Going to do some variety streaming, playing a bunch of Steam demos. So we're going to shuffle through some interesting looking demos, check out some potential games, and just have a bit of a chill time on Monday. That'll be a Monday midday, maybe? I'm not sure. I'll figure it out. But Monday's the next one. Right now, though, I've got to go find someone to raid. So let's see who's live. Okay, we'll go random Minecraft channel then. Right, got a random Minecraft channel for you. Here it goes. I hope you enjoy what you find. Have a great rest of your day, people. I'm going to bounce. Thank you for hanging out with me. See you again Monday. Bye-bye.